Last season, we won the NASCAR Monster Energy Cup Series Championship with this move over Kyle Larson with just a handful of laps remaining in the race, as this would propel us into the second position and we would come through to win the championship for the first time in our Monster Energy Cup Series career here on the top level in NASCAR. So hopefully we can repeat that this season here in the number 24 car for Hendrick Motorsports. So hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new episode of NASCAR Heat 3 Career Mode. Today we start a new season, a new chapter with the 24 car for Hendrick Motorsports. They brought us over to this team in hopes that we can make the 24 run good again before we move it into Jimmy Johnson's position in the 48 car next season. So obviously we had the Xfinity team change as well. We still have the number 99, but we got different drivers, a different paint scheme as well this season, and we had Noah Gragson in the car for the Xfinity Series race, as he didn't qualify very good, but there you see the new paint scheme on the car. We have Rheem as our sponsor for this season, so I hope you guys at least enjoy the paint scheme. It's certainly hard to work with because they don't let you change the design or anything. Obviously a custom paint booth would be really nice to have, but unfortunately we don't ever get that stuff. But Gragson, he would move his way into a top 20 position as he came towards the midway point of this race, moving up to P15, looking to the inside now of John Hunter Nemechek as he came down through out of turns 4, heading down the front straightaway, closing in on the back there of the 0 of Garrett Smithley. So Gragson would continue to move his way forwards as he came towards the final lap, running in the 10th position now, closing in on the back bumper of Brandon Jones as they get connected through the center now of the corner on the outside of Tyler Reddick as he comes through out of turns 4. Gragson with a solid run as he tries to hold on to a top 10 position as Kaz Grella leads the way through the tri-oval. Kaz Grella wins it and Gragson comes home with a 10th place finish. So a great start for us in Daytona, because usually in past seasons we have an absolutely horrible start in Daytona, but this time it goes much better here today with Gragson in the car. So hopefully this will carry over to our performance in the Daytona 500 with our new team, of course, on the 24 car here for Hendrick Motorsports. Hopefully we can bring good things to this team. This 24 car has struggled in our career mode. William Byron, he got a win last season, but it was pretty much kind of luck. He got eliminated in the playoffs right away, but as we came through to qualifying, obviously we know we're not going to qualify very well at a plate track, and as we come through turns 3 and turns 4, this is now our second lap of 2 here in qualifying as we head down the front straightaway, coming down into the tri-oval. Like I said, it's not going to be a great lap now as we cross the line. It is a 46.426, and we will start the Daytona 500 from 26. So hopefully we can bring this 24 car to the front here for the Daytona 500 for Season 5 in Cup Series.
Live from beautiful Daytona International Speedway in Daytona Beach, Florida, for today's running of the great American race, the Daytona 500. Another season of Monster Energy NASCAR Cup racing is about to get underway. The forecast calls for blue skies and temps in the mid-70s. Perfect weather for racing. The drivers are in their cars and the sold-out crowd is on their feet. It's that time of year again. It's time for NASCAR racing.
All right, we're ready to go green here for the Daytona 500 with the 24 car. We have Jamie McMurray sent to the back after replacing a transmission before the race, and that is our only note coming into this race as we get ready to start alongside the 12 of Ryan Blaney behind Suarez and Busch there on the row in front of us now as the Daytona 500 is underway, and we are green here with Larson behind me there in the 42, a former teammate back from our first season in the Cup Series, is across the stripe behind the 18 of Kyle Busch. Martin Truex Jr. started on the pole. He leads the way with Clint Boyer on the outside front row as they go down towards turns 1 and turns 2. Eric Almirola already getting up there 3 wide as that might hang him out now as we get a big run here on the outside lane through the center of the corner, but it certainly stalls out there as we come out of turns 2, heading down the back straightaway for the first time in this brand new season here as we sit P25 as we head down the straightaway on Kyle Busch's back bumper as we push him going down towards turns 3 and turns 4, with Truex continuing to lead early on in this race. Behind us, Larson 3 wide as he's getting hung out there as we come through out of turns 4. Busch looking to the outside of Suarez as we head down the front straightaway. And we need to get to the bottom as quickly as possible here in Daytona because that will help me propel forward. Obviously, you can make the top work at this track, but you need to be at least really in the top 10 to make that happen. So when we're not in the top 10, we're obviously going to try and be on the bottom lane here in Daytona. There as we make a little bit of contact with Ryan Blaney. That was all on me. I just kind of turned down a little too hard on him as we went down the back straightaway. We would continue following the 18 here of Kyle Busch, stuck on this top lane, couldn't find a way to the bottom now as we came through a lap later. Now Busch made it to the inside of Keselowski as we go 3 wide of the middle between Keselowski and the 2 Penske cars here, between Keselowski and Blaney as we come through the center of the corner. Busch's run, he stalls out, and we make contact with the 2 of Keselowski and just about have an incident there, but we hang on to the car thankfully and keep the car straight, sitting P28, but we would be able to move back forwards on this bottom lane and move up to P21 with 7 to go in the stage. So certainly could have gotten taken out in an incident, but thankfully we didn't. We got back to the bottom lane, like I said, and we worked our way forwards to a top 20 position here on lap 8 of 14 in this first stage. And we would kind of get stalled out right about here. We were struggling to really work our way through traffic. Now as we came to the lap 9, a lap later, heading down towards turns 1 behind Daniel Suarez as we continue to push him from behind, sitting in P19 at the moment there as we come through turns 1 and turns 2. Joey Logano at the moment leads this race as we head down the back straightaway. And as we came through now another lap later, on lap 10, still running behind the 41 of Daniel Suarez as we head down towards turns 1 with just 5 to go. In the stages at 12 goes spinning of Blaney, and he's going to come up the track right in front of me. We hit the wall now as we're involved in the early crash here in stage 1, but we get a very lucky break as we only have 8 seconds of damage, and obviously, like I've said in the past, 10 or more seconds of damage will DNF us from a race. So we get a lucky break. We have to go to the back of the field as you see an onboard replay of what happened here. Blaney, he spins, goes right up in front of me, and we get collected immediately. I was checking the damage indicator to see if we were still going to be good, so we would get ready for a restart. Thankfully, like I said, only 8 seconds of damage, so we remain in this race. Very fortunate to still be in it now as the green flag would return with 2 to go in this first stage here in Daytona. And unfortunately, being involved in that incident completely takes our chances away of getting stage points here in stage 1. So a bit of a rough start with this 24 car in the first stage, but I was confident that we can really move our way forwards in this second stage as we came through turns 1 and 2 on the inside. Now Parker Kligerman, our run would stall out here as we came out of turn 2. Larson, he would get clear of me and we would fall in behind him, and as we came to now the final lap in this first stage, we would get to the back of Larson, maintain in this draft. Thankfully, we didn't lose it now as we come through turns 1 and turns 2 on the final lap here in stage 1. Joey Logano continuing to lead at the moment as he tries to get a playoff point. He obviously came up a few spots short of a championship last season as we try to defend a championship this season. Now as we come down the back straightaway on the outside of Kyle Larson, heading down towards turns 3 and turns 4 for the final time in this first stage. Now Larson clears me, so we fall in behind him as we come through the center of the corner. McMurray all the way up on the top. We have some big names back here now as we come out of turn 4, heading down the front straightaway. Joey Logano going to come through the trial to win the first stage in Daytona as we come through to get P39 after being involved in an incident, setting us back. As like I said, we got some big names. Ryan Blaney, he's out of the race, so he's already locked into a 40th place finish here in Daytona, and we pitted under that yellow that we were involved in, so I decided, okay, here's an opportunity. We're going to stay out and move up to P16. The only problem is we're starting on the outside, so we might lose some positions here for the start of stage 2. But we're ready to go green alongside Jamie McMurray as the green flag is out, and stage 2 is officially underway behind the 42 of Kyle Larson, getting close to his back bumper. Not a great restart for the car in front of him of Parker Kligerman as we head down the long straightaway towards turns 1 and 2. Joey Logano there on the back bumper of the 40 of McMurray. He just won the first stage of the season as we come through turns 1 and turns 2. Into the back there of Kyle Larson as Brad Keselowski looks like he is currently the leader of this race as Kurt Busch goes through on my inside, and whoever was leading this outside lane had an absolutely horrible restart, and this certainly put us back here on the top as we drop now to P18. Only a couple positions lost as we now look to the outside there of the 42 of Kyle Larson, heading down towards turn 3. They're already going 3 wide up ahead between LaJoy, Kurt Busch, and Joey Logano as we get into the back briefly of Parker Kligerman as we come through the center of the corner, continuing the drop on this outside lane, and certainly not what we need. We need to get down to the bottom as quick as possible, but the way the lanes are working right now, it's going to be very tough to do that as we come across the line side by side with the 00 of Landon Castle, who had a great run last season in Homestead, Miami to round out the season now as he tries to move his way forwards here in the Daytona 500 as LaJoy, he's all the way up by the wall, 3 wide with Kligerman and Hamlin as we come through out of turns 2, just about sticking our nose up the inside of LaJoy, but we fall in behind him as we come down the back straightaway. So we were certainly struggling to get down to this bottom lane in this beginning of the second stage, but we would have a chance to make it happen throughout the rest of the stage. but it would be at a cost for another position or so, as we would end up dropping to P23 by the time we came to lap 6. You see, I did, like I said, get to the bottom now as we head down the back straightaway on lap 6 of 12 in this second stage, but thankfully being on the bottom should help us get forwards a little bit, but I felt like we were on the outside for too long, and that's going to certainly diminish our chances of getting a top 10 here in this second stage. So looking like, again, we might not get stage points. First stage, it was due to being involved in a crash. This time it was just we got stuck on the top, and we weren't really in the top 10 to make the top work now as we come through the trial, sitting P22 behind Kurt Busch there as we would cross the stripe. And now you see us coming to the white flag here in the second stage. We had only moved up to P21 using this bottom lane because it just really seemed like the two lanes were pretty even throughout the first few stages there, as it was really hard to move our way forwards there as we close in behind Kurt Busch as we made a 3-wide move there on Haley Deegan, moving up into the top 20 as we come out of turn 2, heading down the back straightaway for the final time in the second stage behind the one car of Kurt Busch, who had a great season last season, and he had a chance to make it to the final 4. Unfortunately for him, he did not make it now as we look to his inside coming through turns 3 and turns 4 for the final time in this second stage now through the center of the corner. It looks like Brad Keselowski will come out of turn 4 heading down the front straightaway just in front of Matt DiBenedetto. Keselowski will come through to win this second stage as we get P19 as we cross the line in stage 2. So the Penske drivers win stage 1 and stage 2, Logano the stage 1 victory, and Keselowski now the stage 2 victory, as we would have to come to pit road at the end of this stage to take 2 cans of fuel. I would decide on taking no tires for this pit stop. I felt like that would be our best chance to maintain our track position, so I decided, okay, we'll just take no tires and no repairs, and we would sure enough come out in P19 just where we came in as we get ready to start this final stage, and hopefully we can move forwards here and have a chance to win the Daytona 500 for the first time in our career as the green flag is back out. The final stage is underway, just 18 laps once we cross the line to go here in the Daytona 500 on the inside now of Kurt Busch as we head through on the exit of the trial, heading down towards turns 1 behind Ryan Truex and the number 72 car. And as we head down towards turns 1, closing in on the back of Ryan Truex now as we get a big run and look to his inside there. As that caught me off guard, I looked behind me and then I looked ahead and we were closing in real quick on the 72, and I didn't want to slam into his bumper, so I turned left, and we ended up getting past Ryan Truex heading down the back straightaway now, so making up a spot or two early here in this third and final stage. Looking to the inside of the 47 of Ryan Preece as we come through the center of the corner, as this inside line is certainly having a good restart now, as we also look to the inside of Paul Menard taking over that 15th position as we come out of turn 4, making just a little bit of contact there with the 21 car as we try to stick our nose up 3 wide on Hamlin, but it doesn't work as we look to the inside of Ross Chastain as we cross the line side by side with the Watermelon Boy, as Brad Keselowski continues to lead the way over second place right now of Brendan Gaughan, who's having a great run here in this season's Daytona 500. Logano has moved his way back to third as he certainly looks to have a strong car here in today's Daytona 500 now as we head down the back straightaway, clearing Chastain, looking to the inside of Stenhouse for a moment, but we had to check up, allowing Chastain to get back to my outside as we come down the back straightaway. Larson all the way on the bottom by himself. Hamlin's going to go 3 wide with him and Stenhouse as we come through the center of the corner, following in line behind Larson now as we look to the inside of Hamlin, who loses a lot of momentum as we head down the front straightaway now, just about clearing Hamlin as we come through, heading down towards the trial. We're trying to move ourselves into a top 10 position. And we would clear Denny Hamlin and continue to follow Kyle Larson in that 12th position as now we come to lap 35. Like I said, sitting P12 as Larson and Harvick battle side by side. As Harvick now, he has an issue as his car bounced, and we know that's a tire issue as we head down towards turn 3, and the caution would fly before he goes crashing, thankfully, as he gets up into the wall, as we would stay out and get ready to restart P11 here late in the Daytona 500. And the green flag is back out, and we are underway with about 13 laps to go here in the Daytona 500 behind the 13 of Ty Dillon. We have not really been in the top 10 today, but now as we get ahead of Kyle Larson, we have a chance to be inside the top 10 for the first time in today's Daytona 500 as we head down towards turns 1 and turns 2. Keselowski, you see, has lost the lead. He's up on the outside row as Logano has a terrible restart as we come through the center of the corner, moving up into that 8th spot for a brief moment as Brendan Gaughan currently leads the way as we head down the back straightaway. side by side with Matt DiBenedetto in the 95 as we head down towards turn 3 on the back of the 13 of Ty Dillon. I thought for a brief moment of making a move to his inside, but then I fell back in line behind him as Gahn leads the inside line. Logano leads the top in front of his Penske teammate of Brad Keselowski as we come out of turn 4, now behind Matt DiBenedetto as we head down the front straightaway, sitting in the 9th position as we come through the trial to complete lap 38 now and hit 12 to go. Now decide, you know what, let's try and move up to the top. We're in the top 10. We might be able to make it work, but it certainly didn't look like it was going to happen because it wasn't very organized up here, and I quickly realized that and felt like I had made a mistake. So it was really just now about getting back to the bottom lane. So instead of helping Brad Keselowski in the top line, it was really just about getting, like I said, to the bottom. So I'd spend the next half a lap or so getting down to the bottom, and we would make that happen. We would get in behind the 95 of Matt DiBenedetto and hold on to P9 as Keselowski was still pretty much up on the top by himself. As McMurray, he would move up there, and so does Ty Dillon as we head down the back straightaway. So I think about, okay, let's go and maybe help them as the 13. He starts smoking as we head down the back straightaway as he might crash going down towards turns 3. I immediately get to the top trying to avoid this as he goes spinning into the corner and he comes up the track into us, and we're involved in the big one. In the Daytona 500, many cars taking out Landon Castle, Truex, Ryan Newman, I think that is, going up on his side, Ty Dillon, Kyle Larson, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., many others involved, and this takes us out of the Daytona 500 as there's 20 seconds of damage, of course, like I said, over 10 seconds, and it's a DNF as you'll get an onboard replay of what happened there. He goes spinning, and I put it into the wall just trying to avoid it, and we get absolutely destroyed through turns 3 and turns 4, and that gives us a little bit of an early exit in the Daytona 500. As here you see the finish on your screen to the race. Reed Sorensen won the Daytona 500 today in this episode, which might put him in the playoffs if he can stay in the top 30 in points. But an unfortunate beginning to the season. Obviously, we're the defending champion now in the Cup Series, and we have an early exit in the Daytona 500, which is really unfortunate for us. And as unfortunate as that is, this is also what I love about the AI in NASCAR Heat 3. They can crash, and we can be a victim of them having issues. Like, I've always wanted to be able to get taken out in a crash at Daytona in a big one, and not because of my doing, and that's exactly what just happened right there. Actually, kind of twice in this race. We got caught up in a crash in Stage 1. We got lucky to be able to stay in the race this time. Didn't go as well when we got taken out by the 13 of Ty Dillon. 20 seconds of damage clearly would take us out of that race, unfortunately. So not a good start to the season, as that's going to put us way down in the bottom of the points. We didn't get a single stage point because of just really the crash in Stage 1, getting stuck on the outside in Stage 2, and now this incident puts us in a bad points position. But obviously, there you see Gregson, he's in 10th for Xfinity, but there we are, 38th in the points after the Daytona 500. Some big names, though, down here. So I really am not too concerned with the points situation. But as always, if you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Those would all be very appreciated, as we're only 23 points out of the playoffs after that. So no concerns at all, as I think we'll have no problem getting inside the playoffs. But hopefully we can do that, unless maybe this is a sign that we're going to have a lot of bad luck this season after that Daytona 500. I hope not. We certainly ran into a lot of incidents, but I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching, everybody, and have yourselves a great day.